Hey guys, Angus here, bringing another Airsoft gun review today. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite Airsoft replicas of all time. This is the ICS L86A2 LSW, or Light Support Weapon, Airsoft AEG. This is a phenomenal quality gun made by a brand that's known not only for its quality but also for its ingenuity in making Airsoft replicas, ICS. If you're interested in purchasing this product, you can purchase it on airsoftstation.com for about $350. That's a bit of a steep price for some of you. Is the gun worth it? Let's go through the review and figure that out. Let's start off first with the gun's packaging and everything it comes with. Now, to save money, ICS basically designed the same exact box for all of their L85 or SA80 series. Therefore, when you get the L86, it'll come in the exact same box as the L85A2, hence the reason it's marked with the words L85A2. However, if you look closely, there is a small decal detailing this is the ICS L86, not the L85. Bright flashy boxes you're going to expect from ICS when you pop it open. This is what you should see, with the exception that there will be a gun inside. Simply took that out to make the review a little bit easier. Inside the packaging you do get a little bit of paperwork, including your standard operation manual. This manual is actually pretty helpful. Goes through a lot of helpful stuff such as disassembly of the weapon, access to your gearbox, the feature of your adjustable spring guide. It's a rather nice manual. I do suggest you read it. You do also get a ICS DVD. It's really nothing special. It only works on your computer. It's basically an ICS catalog detailing some other stuff they sell. Aside from the paperwork, you will also get a bright orange muzzle cap, a bottle of about 1,000 ICS 0.2 gram BBs. These are great quality. Highly recommend you do use them. Two 450 round high capacity M4 style magazines, courtesy of ICS. And of course, your ICS L86A2 Airsoft AEG itself. Now, out of the box, if you're not used to the bullpup style of rifle with everything being located behind the pistol grip, this may take a little bit of getting used to. A couple things to point out right away. If you're a left-handed user looking to get this rifle, I really would not recommend it, because in real steel and on the Airsoft replica, it's a little bit uncomfortable to hold. And also, if you were holding the real steel left-handed, you'd have casing shooting into your face as they eject from the gun after the round has been fired. Also, being it's a bullpup, all the mechanics being located in the back, the gun is a bit back heavy. You'll definitely notice it. It's a little evened out with the bipod on the front, but it is definitely rather back heavy. Now, let's talk a little bit about the internal and external build of the L86. Internally, the gun has your standard ICS internals. They're solid quality internals. Of course, everything's metal in there. The gearbox is a kind of proprietary to the L85 style gearbox. It is shaped like a giant C, and it's rather easy to remove if you follow the disassembly instructions detailed inside the owner's manual. There are a couple cons to the internals of this gun, however. Number one would be your motor. This gun utilizes an ICS Turbo 3000 motor, which is, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic motor. However, it's very loud and very whiny. You'll notice that when I shoot it a little bit later. So, not really a huge con, but those of you who like quieter guns that you can hear the person calling hit over the sound of your gun, you may want to swap out the motor, but otherwise the motor's fine. It's just a little loud. Also, there's a bit of a con with the hop-up. I have yet to experience this, but the two past owners of the L86 I have known have had the same hop-up issue as I. After a couple skirmishes, maybe 2 or 3, the hop-up seems to put too much pressure on the BB, and really any weight of BB you put in the gun spins straight into the air the second it comes out of the barrel. The only thing really avoiding that would be .3s and up, which you really don't want to use in this gun too much. So, a little bit of a hop-up issue there. I believe it's something with the nub. Again, I haven't experienced this, but that is something to watch out for. Also, internally, this gun does feature an adjustable spring guide. It's a rather nice feature. It's detailed in your owner's manual. If you wanted to adjust your feet per second, you can adjust the spring guide simply by popping off the butt plate. You can turn it from 3 settings, the highest of 400, the medium of 350, and the lowest of about 300. The external quality of this gun is also very solid. Basically, all the black pieces on this gun being made of a solid quality metal, not cheap pot metal, solid quality metal. This means your upper and lower receiver are metal, your shoulder rest is metal, your fire selector switch is metal, your magazine release is metal, your iron sights are metal, your outer barrel is metal, your inner barrel is metal, your one-piece flash hider is metal, your bipod is metal, etc. The one piece that isn't metal on the gun that is black would be your charging handle, which is actually a little flimsy. I'll show you that a little bit later. The OD green pieces on the gun are made of a very fine quality polymer, and they certainly feel nice to the touch. The grip is composed of polymer, as is the handguard, as is the cheek rest, as is the dust cover currently flipped down, as well as the back foregrip and the butt pad on the stock. Commenting on a bit of the externals very quickly, the gun does not have any threading on it, so that may disappoint some of you who are hoping to take that tip off and put on a suppressor or something. Gun doesn't have threads. It's actually just a one-piece outer flash hider. It's no big deal. You can leave it on there. Some of you might say, well, I don't want the orange on there. Unlike some other flash hiders out there, ICS is a very nice, discreet little orange tip as opposed to coloring the entire thing orange. Externally, this gun also has some great trades on it, such as this one on the handguard reading MG 5.56mm light support L86A2. There's also a unique serial number imprinted on the magazine well. So really, externally and internally, this is a fairly solid gun. A couple minor cons with the internals, one that I haven't actually experienced yet, just know from past experiences. And externally, a very, very solid bodied gun. The paint job is very fine. A little bit of scratching starting to come in now that I've used it in a couple skirmishes, but otherwise it's a solidly built gun internally and externally. Let's hop into some of the features of this gun, starting at the back of the rifle. Now, starting at the back of the weapon, the buttstock of the rifle is nice and textured, grips onto your shoulder rather well, and sticks in place. In order to add a little bit more stability, the gun does have a flip-up shoulder rest, if you will, which is also composed of metal and flips up like so, as you can see. This is actually rather tough to move from either position, whether you're pushing it back into place or upwards so that you can rest it on your shoulder. So don't expect it to snap off and break easy one day when it's just sitting on your shoulder. It's there to give you a little bit more stability, helps hook on to the top of your shoulder, and therefore you can aim a little bit better, especially when you're lying prone. This gun does feature a functional bolt catch. If you wanted to access your hop-up unit, you'd simply pull back the bolt like so. Again, it's a little flimsy, so be careful, don't play with it too much. Press this piece up like so, and your bolt will lock back. Reveals your hop-up unit so that you can go ahead and adjust your hop-up without having to play with the bolt and hold it backward. Once you have adjusted your hop-up unit via that gear, you can release the bolt catch simply by pulling back on the bolt like so. Now, on the opposite side of the gun from your bolt and bolt catch, you do some other various mechanics being located in the rear of the weapon in the bullpup style, hence the gun is so back heavy. That first small sort of tab located just above the foregrip, this one here, is actually your fire selector switch. It is composed of metal, and therefore when it rubs against the metal receiver, there is going to be a bit of wear and tear there, that black paint coming away to reveal the silvery metal underneath. No big deal, it's going to happen with the metal on metal. The fire selector switch has two settings, the first being facing towards the top of the gun, semi-automatic, and if you were to flip it down, like so that it would be facing the user if someone were wielding this weapon, the gun is on full auto. Located just in front of the fire selector switch, you do have your magazine well as your magazine ejection button, being this metal piece right here. If you were to push it inward and the magazine was in the well, the magazine would pop out. The magazine for this gun is just your standard high-capacity M4 style magazine. This gun does take any M4 magazine, and that's a huge advantage when in the field, considering basically all your airsoft fields are populated by either M4s or AKs, so that if you do need a spare mag, there's a good chance that somebody on your team will have one. These magazines are metal and hold 450 rounds, working exactly like a standard high cap, being wound at the bottom and filled through the top. When in the magazine well, the mags do have a bit of wobble, nothing a little electrical tape couldn't take care of. In reality, it's not a big deal. These magazines are nice quality. I've used them time and time again, and I've never had a jam. Your gun's safety is located just above the trigger area. It's that small sort of black piece sticking out of the left side of the replica. When it is poking out of the left side of the gun, there will also be a small letter F showing, and that means the gun is on fire. You can pull the trigger. If you were to push it, so that it is no longer showing at the left, but rather the right, the gun is on safe and the trigger cannot be pulled. Naturally, the L86 will feature iron sights, this being your rear sight. Looks rather similar to the carry handles on your M4s or M16s. However, as far as I'm led to believe, you are not supposed to use this as a carry handle, you are simply supposed to use it as your rear sight. Really nothing too special about it. It does have two apertures located on the top, shown here. They're simply different hole sizes for different ranges. See this smaller hole aperture and a much more open hole aperture shown here. There is a rail underneath this rear sight, however it's not your typical 20mm rail. Optics are very limited for the SA80 series. The only real one you're going to be able to mount on here would be a SUSAT, which you can find at various different airsoft stores online. Your front sight is really nothing special, just your standard iron sight with sight posts you can line up your rear sight with. It is adjustable, you can go ahead and turn it all you want, but really it's just a standard front sight. The battery of the weapon is housed inside the handguard. In order to access the battery compartment, you want to pop open the top of the handguard like so. May take a little bit of pulling, but eventually it will pop open. Then there'll be a small piece you must release underneath, and the side of the handguard will fold out like so in order to reveal your battery compartment. This gun uses a small type Tamiya connector, and battery space in here is fairly limited. You really can't house large batteries, but nunchucks and 7.4 volt LiPos fit in here very, very easy. So you do have a lot of battery options when it comes to housing 9.6 volt batteries. In order to close the compartment back up, simply let it swing inward. Be careful not to pinch your wires, and shut the compartment as easy as you were opening it. As you've probably noticed already during the review, the gun makes use of a flip-down swivel bipod. This bipod is made of metal, and it's actually rather nice, being that it's only loosely attached to the outer barrel. This allows you to be able to swivel your gun around like so and get access to various different areas that you need to place fire on, as opposed to some other bipods where you must pick them up and move to the next position, as opposed to simply being able to swivel. Now say you wanted to flip your bipod upward when on the move. This is also rather easy. Simply take the bipod, squeeze it together like so that the feet are locked, pull backward on a metal piece underneath the barrel, and lock the bipod in place like so. And so there's the review of the ICS L86A2. This is a rather nice quality airsoft AEG, the only real cons being basically more so internal than anything. The loud motor, which in truth isn't that big of a deal, but some of you might not like it. The possible hop-up issue is a real killer, but as I stated, perhaps it's only with their older models, as this is a fairly new one, and I have yet to experience that issue after a couple months of owning it. The one-piece metal flash hider is a little disappointing, being that there are no threads on the gun, so you're kind of stuck with that one with the orange on it, but really nothing some sandpaper or just leaving the flash hider alone couldn't take care of. The flip-down swivel bipod's really nice, considering it does swivel. It's not a stationary bipod. You're able to lay prone and just swing that thing around without really having any difficulty of picking up, placing down the bipod again in another position, etc., etc. Battery space may seem a little cramped, but it's actually not. You can fit quality batteries in there, such as nunchucks, small type 9.6s, as well as 7.4 volt LiPos rather easily. I wouldn't recommend running an 11.1 out of this gun. The trademarks on the weapon are rather nice. Those ones on the handguard standing out rather well. You do also get the unique serial number on the magazine well. There's a little bit of wobble with the mags, but otherwise they're good quality magazines that have no feeding issues. 450 round metal ICS M4 mags. You get two of them courtesy of ICS, rather nice. Functional bolt catch is rather nice, allows you to access your hop-up unit and work on it pretty easily. Your iron sights, they're decent of course, as you're going to expect. A con of this weapon is limited optics, being the SUSAT is really the only sight you can mount on here. And really that's about it. It is a bullpup, so be expecting some back heaviness as well as a little bit of awkward holding at first. And it'll take a little bit of getting used to in order to reload this rather quickly. Also lefties, this is a gun you might want to stay away from. So with that being said guys, this has been Deathcore Airsoft's review of the ICS L86A2, available at Airsoft Station for about $350. Thanks for watching guys. Please subscribe.